Let there be light, and there was light. Now, those were the famous words of the serpent. Now, I suppose if everyone knew that it was the serpent, the goddess, the Satan, the planet Saturn, or the Christ, the Kundalini, the pineal gland, the Buddha, all those words were the energy that uttered those words. Let there be light, and there was light. Wow, I think that is a real phenomenal discovery. Now, in case you're joining us for the first time, this is where we have fun with numerology. This is where we actualize self-love with the use of scriptural texts, references, and of course, not forgetting our own makeup, our own experiences, traditions, beliefs, and structures and constructs. And so we take all of those into consideration and to help us really make sense of that which we have been conditioned by. Basically, see how they serve us. That is the scriptures. And we all have some kind of idea about the scriptures. I'm talking about how we have been raised, whether we were Catholic, whether we were spiritual, whether there's always a concern about our spiritual makeup or religion or beliefs or not, whether we believe or not, but it comes into the equation of questions. So that's where we're at. Now, of course, I'm very excited here because numerology does offer a very unique tool and instrument to understanding the scriptures in the I was going to say the Saint James. Perhaps he is a saint now, the King James version of the Holy Bible. Well, to have accredited his name to such a wonderful piece of work, why not make him a saint? Indeed. So I think I will say Saint James. Well, King James, there is a Saint James. There is a Saint James in the Bible. Oh, maybe he is that. He is that. That I am that. Okay. So, of course, and part of the whole. So, but it is really a beautiful piece of work, I should say, or a wonderful story, or a book with lots of wonderful dramas. I don't think we have anything else like it. So I'm privileged to be able to really delve in there with the eyes that have been governed by the serpent. It's like she's behind me saying, hey, look at this, look at this. Now, this is the one you need to count. Now she tells us to count backwards. She tells us to count backwards. And so far, I have been doing things backwards as well, not just counting backwards. It's like I see things backwards. I'm even speaking backwards. So, all right. Now, so something I wanted to catch on because we have been looking at, now I'm getting, wow, I get a feel, I get a chill through. And when I get this chill now, instead like before I used to say, oh, it's the angels. Now I'm really saying, that's Mother Eve, the serpent, moving right through me, right through me. So we have been looking at let there be light, and there was light. And it is in that verse that Mother Eve have instructed me to take a look at that third verse of Genesis of chapter 1. And there, according to her, there you will understand that there were 14 Eves. Now, all this had derived, it's like she takes me into this dance. It's the dance of words and dance of numbers. So when I really embarked upon this realization of the realization of Christ coming is like another message, or a message of his mother. It's like Christ had come to say, I want you to hear this story. I want you to really pay attention. When he says, okay, I'm a worm, for instance, I am not a man, he says, I am a worm. He was really saying, I am a snake or I am a serpent. And no one paid attention. Well, I am now. And that's what that was being conveyed there. And when he says, oh, drink of the blood, I mean, when you're talking about blood, it's a woman's issue. Blood is a woman's issue. Of course, there was the spilling of blood, we know, of course, the nail going through the hand and so on. But there was a lot of Christ's teaching that was really about his mother, is about nurturing, about caring, about protection. So there was a lot going on. Now, in this third verse, I'm hoping you can see that because my pens are playing up. Okay, so in this third verse, of course, we have looked at let there be light, and we saw the first stance of let there be light equal 12, and the second stance was 13. Now what and when we added this together, they became 25. 2 plus 5, of course, is 7. This is where Mother Eve has said, when you look in there, because she said that there were 14 Eves. Now this, of course, came about, as I say, it's like when Christ said, this is where I was going with this. When Christ said, don't you know you are the light of the earth? And then I sort of made the connection. Why would we wait? Where is it said that we are the light of the earth in the Old Testament or in Genesis? Where can we make that connection? In fact, it's when I was exploring let there be light, and of course I could hear Christ, don't you know you are the light of the earth? And it reminds me, my personal message after having my Kundalini rise was really saying, let your light shine. That was the message I had from the Bible, which was really, I won't go into the makeup of that, but it was a direct message which I was asking for answers, and it was, let your light shine. No, it was really, arise, for your light has come and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. So that was really my message. So basically, it was the realization that I was light. So it's going through the metamorphosis of having your Kundalini rise and awareness, then you know that the light has come. Because the light is there, but it had not come through your third eye. So arise, it's like arise. This is where the serpent goes up the spinal cord, up into your pineal gland, activating your pineal gland, having your Kundalini rise, or your third eye activated. It's all the same. And so, when you have done that, then it is that you know your light has come. So, your light has come. Let's just do this. Your light, L-I-G-H-T. We won't do all the light is 11. We have done this before. 7, 6, 3, 9. Of course, we know the magic of 6, 3, 9. We see that on our template. So here is that this is 18, 19, 25. So this is 25, meaning it's 7. 7. So your is 7. Now your is very much explaining what we want to do as well, because when we say your, it also consists of our. So if we were to say 7 as your, there is another 7 in your, meaning that would be 14. So there is a concealment of 7 or of the other in there. Of course, if we did just hour, for instance, that would be 18. 9 and 9, 18. Of course, 1 plus 8 is 9. But it's there we are birthing newness. There's the cycle of birthing right there. Okay, so so let your light, let is your light shine. Let's just look at shine. We know let is 1 and shine is 5. So let's do this. 1, 8, 5, no, 9, 5, 5. Okay, so this is 10, 10, 28. So this is also 1. So we start, let your light shine. So your is 7. And if we do this, if we add this, let your light shine. Just say this, for instance, we just getting a feel of this here. So this is 3 plus 7 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11, of course, is 2. So in saying let your light shine is really saying get your reflection, get your W. It's get realized, get your, as I say, your W. And that's what getting your light to shine is about. So when we see the 2, because 11, of course, if we did the numerical value for 11, it would be 9. And 9, of course, we did the numerical value for that would be 6. So we see the cycle of your completeness in that. It's a cycle of formation or transformation. You are birthing in 9. But of course, as 11, you are bonding with number 2. 11 is where you are also bonding. You are bonding, you are creating, you are shining. So basically, the number 11 here, of course, as the master number, which equals Jesus as well, which of course is Mother Eve too, as the serpent and the snake when added together. And we have seen in different formats as well. Mother Eve is really also 11. So, but to keep on track with what we were doing, let your light shine, not let your light shine, let there be light, and there was light. So Mother Eve has told us that there were 14 Eves. Okay, wow. 14, let's see. The pens dry up so quickly. Okay. So 14 Eves. You can see that. Okay. So we had 14 Eves, and this is all from Genesis of chapter 3, chapter 1, verse 3 and 4. This is what we... So let your light... oh, I keep saying that. Let your light shine. Wow. So we see 14 Eves, of course, coincide with 5 here. 14 is 5, and that in itself is telling us a lot about the derivative of Eve in that sense. Eve also equals 5, so we'll just leave that here. But Eve is saying to me, the serpent, that there were 14 Eves, and of course with 14 Eves, it's the Eves were the light. When she said, let there be light, so we saw that the first stance was 12, and the second stance of that verse of chapter 1, verse 3 equals 13. So there we had 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. So this is where we had 7. But it's when it said, and God saw, so God saw. That tells us a lot. So the word saw has the W in it. It tells you about, if like our eyes, for instance, because there's the nose in between, it's like it's giving that effect of a W, if you like. There is something between. It's like you could say there's the nose bridge here. There's the nose bridge here. And so, of course, there is 2 L's or 2 7 or 2, in fact, 2 L's or 2 7s or 2 V's right here in this. Now, even if we looked at it as 2 7s, that would give us 14. Of course, the two sevens, that, and look at it just as it were. So we have the serpent hair, because that is Mother Eve right here with the saw. Mother Eve, in fact, I had not seen Mother Eve as the one doing the saw, but when we have this essay, it's like Mother Eve is like she's given she's given the okay. You know, she's like she's the start. She's the one who she has seen. She has done this 7 Eves before, when we have the 25, which gives us 7, and then she saw it was good. So meaning that there is, whether we could see it as they were twins, but then there would be a soaring. In fact, I'm going to check with Mother Eve if they were like twins, because it would seem like they were twins and they had to be soul. So this is the W in itself is very indicative of 2 7s. This is 7, and it depends on how we want to look at it, but it's like as though whether it was M, whether we saw it as 2 M's, but they are 7s anyway. So M is like this, it looks like this. We see we could take a 3 and make it like this, or an E, and so on. But this is what the two main aspect here in this capital form gives us the 7 right there. And so we see that in that verse of Genesis of chapter 1 and verse 4, this is where we see the italic, the second set of soul. It is actually written in an italic form, as if very much telling us that there was a jigsaw. It's like there was a division. And then in that very same verse, in fact, I think I'm going to read this out, because that really explains. Okay, got to take this off to see. Okay. So here we have, and God said, no, this is on, okay, and God saw the light that it was good. So the was is what goes italic, and God divided the light from the darkness. So there's the division. So it's like here we are saying that there were two, so God divided. So God saw and then divided. So it's like they were bread. It's no wonder Christ had served bread and wine, we could say. So there's one that is light. Of course, the bread is light, and there we get on to knowing as well that the light he called day, and the darkness he called night. So there we see that there would be the two different shades, the light and the dark and the darkness. Okay, so those two aspects tells us that is where the 2 7s got divided as well. So meaning that there would be like, and later on we get to understand that and God said, let there be lights in the heaven, to give light in the heavens and light in the earth. So the lights that he called day, I think, would have been in the heavens. I haven't gone into the specifications of that, but then we have, so there were but they were daughters, if you like. They were the Eves. So whether it would be the 7 visible planets, although we have more planets now, or I'm not sure what correlation that comes into right now to make much sense of it, but it would mean that there were 7 and 7. And of course, if we added this together in numerical value or consolidate them where they marry, because everything, when it marries, it becomes 1. So of course 1 equals 7 as well. When we do the numerical value for 1, it equals 7. So this is why it is easy to say, well, now we have like 2 gods, because the 2 gods would come to 14. So 7, S-E-V-E-N, but we know that Mother Eve is in the middle of 7. So of course, and Mother Eve is 5, and when we add 1 plus 5 here, that gives us 6. So when we add 5 plus 6, that gives us 11. Of course, this 11 is 2, and which is like what we've just done. So we can see that the 7 gods or Eves Mother Eve is talking about is all tying in with that of that 14 Eves that we have. So the 14 Eves basically 14 Eves have been divided into subdivision. The division is 7 of the light and 7 of the darkness. So the 7 light, of course, we know that God called it day, and the 7 nights of the darkness, he called it night. Now, just to really well, we can go on that. And the light, of course, the day, when we do day, which I have also associated as saying they, They. I have done a excellent, I believe, excellent presentation on realizing that's where the they, I kept hearing they instead of they, and that's when I kind of consulted Mother Eve about this day. Is that day about the day, or is that about the They? And then, of course, it was They, they. That's what Mother Eve was saying. So when we hear of day, it's like the female is the day. That's what I am getting right now. And female is actually 6. But when we, and of course it's the days, that's the days they came into. Of course day is 12, and it's there we get that free vibration. So the free, of course, is flexible in that, as I say, it can be M, it can be free, it can be W, and it can be E. So that when we do this, as we do here, 4, 1, 7, and add this together, this is 8, and 4 is 12. So this is the 12 we have right there. Okay, so so the days is 3, and or days. In fact, I think there we may have to double check, which is, I think it is days. He called day, and okay, and night. Okay, Night. But there is another part where we take days, where Mother Eve is behind the day as saying, I am there. She's making a presence right there. So this is 8, 7, 9, 5. When we add this together, so this is 10 and this is 26. This would be 31. 3 plus 1. So there is another thing. So we have just added from the light, and I hope you see this, from the first 2 stands of let there be light and there was light, that came to 27. Now we are adding the days, and the day and the night, and we have 31 and 12, which would be really the same numerical value. So we have 12 and 31. This is 3 and this is 4. When we add 4 plus 3, that gives us 7. So we can see where the other 7 days have gone or have appeared. So basically we can see the light, the creation of the light that is right here in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 3 saying, let there be light, and there was light. So we see there was a creation of the seven lights here, or seven persons, people, whatever we were then. And then God saw the light. That would be in the same chapter, the fourth verse. It's no wonder four, so it would be division. So we can see right here the division sign would be there in the four. And divide, the word divided, actually, the word divided, and it says that God divided, and the word divided is actually 13 as it were there. So it's reflective, it's like it's confirmation. And God divided, because everything is like relational in that sense. So here we have, when we add this together, we have the 7 right there. So 7, and then we see that there was 7 day and 7 nights right there. Okay, which corresponds with the light. So everything came out of the light. This is what, again, we need to be and I believe that we have had a guided definition of the light in that sense. So I'm thinking that light is really where anything that marries or is able to ignite, that is the light. So when there is ignition, or where the energy is generated, in fact, energy, I think, is, wow, let's look at that. ENER. I think energy is 7. And of course, because we have 3 5s right here in energy, and this 9 here is telling us about beginning and end, which is what Mother Eve is talking about. And 2 7s right here. So if anything can give us a clear indication, which I haven't added this yet, but we see in those 2 7s at the end, Mother Eve is right here, 3 5s 15. The 9, the number 9 right there is saying beginning and end, because 3 5 15 is 6, and then we have the end here, which is 9, and it tells us about the 2 7s, which is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5 right here. So basically, Mother Eve, so energy in this sense is really 20. And that is the bedrock. So, or it's 2. So basically, when we examine this right here, we see the 2 7s at the end. We see 9 here. We see the 3 5s for the 15. Of course, 3 5s. We have seen the number and the significance of 5 with the significance of 5. It's like, as I have said, it's like the serpent is there. 5 is showing its masculine and feminine side, really. So it's like this ripple effect of to energize, and that would be like so the S, for instance, in this sense, I was just seeing how it multiplies by 9, like saying it's 3. But however, it's 6. It's 3 5s 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. And then we have 9. So when we add this together, we get 20. We see how 20 had been the bedrock. It's 20 that formed all the Sarah's name was changed. Sarah, the mother of all nation, who bore the mother of Isaac. And so we can see that 20 in that sense, and 20 also correlates with when Christ said to Peter, upon you I will build my rock, upon this rock I will build my church. So we see 20, it's really again the power of 2. So I think that's just what I was saying a minute ago, because 2 is wherever we can get that something to energize, or the energy or something that activates life, that ignites. Ignite is the word. In fact, let's just look at ignite. 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 So this is 975925, and we add this together. So this is 16, and this is 21, 28, 29, 37. 37 is 10. So that is, to ignite is really the perfect combination of both male and female coming together to igniting. Of course, there's the element of one as well. So this is 1, and when we do the numerical value for 1, we see it is 7. If we do the numerical value for 7, we see it is 2. So it automatically takes us back to 2. So as we say in 7, this is where Mother Eve really comes alive, but this also comes to 2 because 7 is 11, and then we add this together, becomes 2. They marry. This is where marriage is done. Of course, as I say ignite, we can do 1, and we'd see that 1, O-N-E, is 5, 5, 6. When we add this together, is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So this is how we have 2. It's all marrying very well together. So, here I just really wanted more clarification on how we have the 14 eves, and we see that one set of the eves were called day, and one set was called night. Now, but that gives us more insight to the story of thinking that Adam was really the first human. We were thinking was the first human, or the first being, and apart from God. And we see that really now it's Mother Eve is the mother who has given life when she says, let there be light, and there was light. So we see those Eves, they came into being. They came into being. And we see through the stories, or not stories, that Delbert Blair, who had, and I would think, I didn't see the research itself, but he did give the reference for the research that there was one time where a woman could really give birth to a child by herself, because the vibration was so strong and ignited in her that she didn't really need a man to conceive a child. And so, of course, we see that that in itself is saying that the man is really like the stirrer of the, or he stirs up the vibration that really helps to conceive a child. In that sense, that is the act that had been to fertilize the egg in the woman, but before she was able to do that herself. So we have been coming, as I say, we are the result of an experiment, and so of course we have not got the capacity to do all that now. I'm sure, well, there must be some pluses to that as well. But it's good to really get an insight as to seeing how, because the story had not really meshed well in our minds. It's not just in my mind to have been told that Eve was really the disobedient one and so on. But later on we see that it's like Eve now was the one who would provide Adam. In fact, Eve was Adam, so I'm talking about the first Eve here now, the waters, the one who is the waters, and she's the one who birthed everything. And when it was said, and let all great creatures and all things come out of the waters and abundantly, that was Eve, Mother Eve, right there again. That's why we are the waters. And the female has 100% water, and the man has 90% water. And And of course, this is all intuitively as well. And I'm sure Mother Eve, when I asked to draw me to the the text, is like the word let in itself, which equals 10, of course, is already a depiction of that which she's saying right there. I am 10, I am that 10% of, or 100%, which if it were 100 would still be 10. And so we see how that is kind of reflecting there as well. And so basically, we are getting a deeper insight there. And it's like, as I say, in the garden where it was said to eat of the fruit, it was clear in how we understood the story that God would have said to Adam, but of that fruit you shall not eat of, or the day you eat of it you shall surely die, or something to that effect, which of course there would be more clarity when we do the numerical values on those as well. But it would be Mother Eve who would be talking to her daughter, because her business, as I say, the business of lettings, was given to other gods. They were given to the God who made, the God who formed, the God who saw, the God who planted, the God who created, the God who blessed, and there were so many, and the God who caused, and there was so the different gods. So she gave those other gods. And so you can imagine, as I said before, that a God would be saying to Eve, Adam's wife, oh, God said you shouldn't eat of this. And of course, her mom saying, behold, I have given you all things, all fruit bearing trees, so you can eat of that fruit, basically. And she looks at the fruit and saw and knew it was good for food. So whether it was seen in a sexual way or not, because everything is fruit form with a seed in it, because we see that a man is also a seed in that sense. So we can see that there was a kind of correlation to that story, whether it was a sextile interaction or not. But however, it still means that she had given all seed-bearing fruit to her children, after all fruit that had its seed in it. Every fruit that bore seeds in it was already freely given. It was freely given, because it was the other God who interjected, or the God who created, or the God who made, who said, yeah, but especially, oh, it's the God who blessed, because bless was to take something away to make room for something else to be created. And so every time when he blessed, but the mother came in and says, behold, I have given you every fruit bearing seed after its kind. It's getting you to remember everything is there for you at your disposal. So when you are being blessed or learning a lesson from being less, you are still a privilege to have more, because that's why you have been given your own guidelines to multiply, to replenish, to increase, to have dominion and replenish. Those 5, so there were 5 gifts you were given. 5 gifts, which also with the number 5, I can hear Eve right there, because it's I-V-E and Eve. So it's like there's a 5 Eves in there. Okay, of course it's 5 Eves in there. That's where 5 is. Because we consolidate the 14. Wow, it's no wonder when we do the numerical value for the word 5, it comes to 6, like the said God. Wow, this is incredible. This is incredible, because I can hear 5s. When we say 5s with 5, we are talking about Eve right here, because the F is giving an indication of what the whole word is about. So the F is 6, and then when we do Eve, of course, but or 5, and we do the numerical value for 5. Let's see the time, if I could do this now. Okay, when we do the numerical value for Eve, or for 5, let's see if I can quickly squeeze this in. So 5 is 6, and we have this, and this is 9, 4, 5. So basically this is Eve. Eve is making her presence felt there, because she says, remember, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but the spirit of sound mind. So 6 is already telling us this is what all of this is. And then when we do this, 9 and 9 is 18. So Eve is here. This is where she's saying, I'm beginning and end right here, because this is beginning. This is Eve is beginning. But when we add this together, we get 6, which is the said, S-A-I-D, and 1, 1, 9, 4. And when we add this together, this is 10, 14, 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. Wow. So we know when we are talking about 5, we are also talking about Eve. Anywhere we see IVE, we are with Eve, right there. Being attentive, we are with Eve. Innovative is Eve. That's Eve, because she's the one who teaches us how to eat of the fruit. She's the one who's the spokesperson. I hope you get this. It's very liberating. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you enjoy this, give us a thumbs up. Thank you.